Hey guys, today we're going to break down episode 4 of Study Group. The episode kicks off with flashbacks of Lee Jun's past, showing us the journey that led him to this point. Much like Gamin, Lee Jun had a tough past, but the key difference between them lies in their motivations, whether in academics or fighting. Gamin pursued all of this for the sake of studying, while Lee Jun did it to become stronger, using fights as a way to toughen himself up. He tried everything to become stronger, but nothing seemed to work. One day at school, he overheard two students talking. One of them said, "If you really want to get stronger, you should go to U.S. Technical High School." Lee Jun was nearby and caught their conversation. Later, just like Gamin's first time in a classroom, he stepped into a school where fights were the norm. Every day, he fought relentlessly, climbing up the ranks until he reached the 17th position. As he recalls his journey, he tells us, "I never dropped below 17. I tried countless times to move up, but it was all in vain. It wasn't working. I was about to give up, but then I saw him, Gamin, taking down someone in class like it was nothing. That moment changed everything for me. I immediately filled out the application form to join the study group. In the present, Gamin watches Lee Jun and tells him to stay outside. Talking to his friend, Gamin insists, "He can't be part of our study group. He's only here for the fights. He has no interest in studying." Meanwhile, outside, Lee Jun yells, desperate to get in, "Let me join. I can study fighting with you guys." "Fight me once or train me," Lee Jun demanded, but Gamin didn't respond. Frustrated, Lee Jun finally said, "Fine, I'll study." After a while, Gamin stepped outside and brought him in. Handing him some worksheets, he said, "We're heading to the hospital to check on Gay. Solve these before we get back." Lee Jun nodded and got to work as they left. He spent a long time solving the problems when suddenly a man appeared. His name was Jang Ho. He stared at Lee Jun and asked, "Are you Gamin?" Without hesitation, Lee Jun nodded. Jang Ho smirked and said, "Come with me, there's a test." "A test?" Lee Jun asked, confused. Jang Ho nodded. "Yeah, you're not number 1 here, are you?" Without hesitation, Lee Jun replied, "I am number 1. With that, he got into the car and left with Jang Ho. Meanwhile, Jang Yo-bin noticed them driving away. At the hospital, Gamin was visiting Gay. Tamun had also come to see her and said, "We've known each other for years, but after what happened last year, I never saw you again. By the way, why did you choose this school?" Gay remained silent, offering no reply. Back with Lee Jun. As Lee Jun sat in the car, he drifted into a memory from his past. He recalled a time when he was being beaten up by a group of kids. Just when things seemed hopeless, another boy stepped in and helped him. Later, Lee Jun spoke to the boy, frustrated. "Why am I so weak?" he asked. The boy shook his head. "You're not weak. One day you'll become strong enough to protect me. Until then, I'll look out for you." In another flashback, the same boy excitedly told him, "I passed the test. I'm part of the Yanbei gang now. We won't be seeing each other anymore." Before Lee Jun could say anything, the boy was taken away. Back in the present, Lee Jun saw the man who had brought him here. The man looked at him and said, "My name is Jang Ho. I work for the Yanbei gang. You're about to take your test." Pointing ahead, he continued, "See that car? There's a key on top of it. Your task is to get that key. If you succeed, you'll become a part of the Yanbei gang, and the car will be yours. But it won't be that easy. 3 men will try to stop you." Without hesitation, Lee Jun sprinted forward, ready to fight them all. Meanwhile, Gamin and his friends arrived at the library, unaware of what was happening outside. As they looked around, they realized Lee Jun was nowhere to be seen. Did he run away? They wondered. Meanwhile, Gamin checked Lee Jun's worksheets and was surprised. He had solved every single problem. Just then, Jang Ni arrived and revealed where Lee Jun was. Cut to Lee Jun. He was surrounded, taking brutal hits. Jang Ho smirked. "I knew you weren't Gamin, so why did you pretend to be him?" Before Lee Jun could answer, Gamin arrived with Jihu and Jang Ni. Jang Ni held up Lee Jun's test results and said, "You passed. Welcome to the study group." Gamin stood there, watching in silence. Gamin looked at Jong-ho and said firmly, "Take your foot off him." But Jong-ho didn't move. In the next scene, Taemin is seen talking to a detective. He said, "That day, Hanuel was here, and you just let him go. And yet, he knows my name. Don't you think that's strange?" The detective remained unfazed. "There's nothing strange about it. He's just a student after all." Meanwhile, Gamin was with his friends, and they were engaged in a fight with 3 men. Ji-hoo was also in the midst of battling someone who had been causing trouble. Together, they managed to take down all 3 men. Later, Gamin moved toward Jong-ho, preparing to attack. Just as he threw a punch, Jong-ho was ready to retaliate, but Gamin blocked the punch effortlessly. Ji-hoo, watching from the side, gasped. This is the first time anyone has ever stopped Jong-ho like that, then threw him across the room. Gamin tried to charge again, but this time he couldn't land a hit. The 3 men continued to fight, seemed to work. Jang-ho easily overpowered them. Flashback to a training session. Gamin remembers how he had been trained meticulously by his uncle. He had learned a technique that was risky but powerful. Back in the present, Gamin spoke to Jang-ho, his voice calm but determined. "I'm about to use something dangerous. My uncle taught me this." With precision, Gamin kicked Jang-ho in the foot, then threw him across the room. The fight had just taken a new turn. He unleashes a barrage of punches, enough to make the wall tremble, as if it's about to break apart. Gon delivers a powerful punch, and in that moment, the impact sends the wall crumbling. As Gon picks up his glasses, a car suddenly approaches, threatening to hit him. But Lee-jo, seeing everything unfold, rushes in and shoves Gon out of the way, saving him from the collision. Not only does he protect Gon, but he manages to save Lee-jo as well from the oncoming vehicle. Afterward, a young man named Navan steps out of the car, engaging in conversation with Gon, telling him, "You're one of us now." Navan tells Gamin, "Join our team," but Gamin replies, "We're not into joining any gangs. We have college to focus on." Meanwhile, Min is dancing and teasing Gamin, saying, "You're just like me, right? Do you think you can handle this?" Gamin then spots Joni and says, "You're still the same." He starts talking about the past, and Navan looks a bit uncomfortable. Later, Navan speeds off in his car, with Joni chasing after him. Suddenly, the police show up. Gamin, talking to someone nearby, says thanks, while his friend notices him and asks, "Why are you looking down? We didn't do anything wrong." "You didn't do anything wrong, you deserve an award," says Yaman. Gamin responds, "I know you didn't do anything bad. You did a great job here. We've caught one of the gang members." Later, Gamin recalls the scene with Hanal, who had left the police station. Then, Prince steps in, saying, "The situation right now doesn't allow me to give you an award. I can't even formally appreciate you. But here's my card. If you run into any problems, just let me know." After that, they leave. Gamin, meanwhile, is sitting on the bus, reflecting on everything. Gamin is talking to his mother and she says, "Where are you?" "You should have been home by 10. Gamin replies, "I'm sorry, Mom. My friend was in trouble, and I went to help him. It won't happen again." Meanwhile, Taemin is on the phone with Gang, telling him, "Your kids have done something impressive. They've caught a member of the Yoonbak gang. We can use him as a witness and gather more information about Hanal." At the same time, Minhwa is speaking to Hanal, saying, "Hanal says that Gamin has shaken things up. Beating Gamin won't be that simple." Hanal, for some reason, is giving Gamin a star rating. Minhwa notices this and comments, "It's been a long time since you gave a 4-star." Scene shows Gamin at home, studying while also chatting in a group. His friends ask, "What are we doing now? We've got all 5 members." In the following scene, all 5 are at school, but things are about to get tense. The friends are with Gajan, who looks at them and says, "You're wearing the wrong change and come back." But later, Ji comes to them and offers help. After that, they leave. Says, "That's the one who took a knife for the student." Jeev confirms, "Yes, that's the one. She's the one leading our group." Hearing this, Lee-jo starts shouting, but Jeev calms him down. Gang says, "I'm going to meet the principal. You go to class." In the next scene, Ji arrives at the principal's office and says, "The group now has all 5 members. I've also written the second point. You should read it." Kakri had left, and the principal became angry because the point mentioned calling a committee for Hanal. The principal recalls that this had been done before by the other teacher. Later, G talks to the group and says, "Our study group is now officially approved. You'll have a separate room where you can study. We'll also have an exchange meeting soon, and we'll go there for it. You'll meet the other students." They say, "You'll meet the students who have a study group, and you can learn something from them." They agree, and in the next scene, everyone is ready to go to Shell. Everyone has worn different outfits, and when the police see their outfits, they are shocked. Later, the three of them leave and two kids pass by them. They get into a flag bit and start arguing. G later brings them to the line. Then Gang arrives and asks, "Where is Gamin?" They respond, "He's coming." In the next scene, they arrive near Manil High School, and seeing the school, it happens that they ask, "Is this a university?" Heaven says, "Can people like us even go inside?" "I'm really scared." G, "Worry, there's nothing to be afraid of." Later, their teacher arrives and speaks to G. G tells them, "This is my college senior and his name is Yal." The two of them are talking when the kids nearby start saying something, but G had already told them, "There's nothing going on between us." They enter the building and start looking around. Y is telling them, "We send 200 students to college every year." They meet with more students and later sit down, preparing for a meeting. Gamin and his friends notice their pens and pencils and observe their way of studying. They think, "This is how smart people study." Lijo says, "You messaged Gon saying he had to come here." Jeev responds, "I sent it in the group." Later, Lijo checks and says, "This is Manil High School, and you mentioned this school as well." Meanwhile, we see Gon standing in front of two schools, one of them being, the name of the school is Manik High School and the other one is Manil High School. Gamin looks at the message and then heads towards Manik High School. After that, the episode ends. We'll meet in episode 5, which will be released on Thursday. Until then, goodbye.